Imagine scanning a field with a metal detector, expecting to find loose change, when instead you unearth the greatest Anglo-Saxon treasure ever discovered. That's exactly what happened in a Staffordshire field in England. A man's metal detector began signaling enthusiastically over what seemed like ordinary farmland. What emerged from the soil would rewrite our understanding of Anglo-Saxon England. Over 3,500 individual pieces of gold and silver had been buried there for 13 centuries, waiting in the darkness. The collection was staggering in both quantity and quality. Gold sword pommels gleamed as they emerged from the earth. Silver weapon fittings, elaborately decorated with twisted wire and intricate patterns, spoke of master craftsmen working in the 7th century. Religious crosses made of gold bore Christian symbols, their surfaces still brilliant after more than a millennium underground. But the story doesn't end there. Each artifact revealed something extraordinary about Anglo-Saxon culture. The sheer amount of gold suggested ownership by the absolute elite of society, warriors of the highest rank, or even kings themselves. This wasn't a merchant's wealth or a church's treasury. This was the treasure of men who commanded armies and ruled kingdoms. The craftsmanship left modern experts in awe. 7th century metalworkers had achieved a level of skill that seemed almost impossible for their era. They twisted gold into elaborate filigree patterns using techniques that required incredible precision. They embedded hundreds of garnets into weapon hilts, cutting each stone to fit perfectly. They created three-dimensional animal designs that seemed to move in the light, eyes made of tiny garnets glowing with an inner fire. Here's the part that most people don't know. The hoard contained almost exclusively military objects, specifically weapon decorations from swords and possibly helmets. Yet mixed among these implements of war were Christian crosses and religious symbols of exquisite beauty. This combination tells us something profound about Anglo-Saxon England in the 7th century. This was a world in transition. Pagan warrior traditions, with their emphasis on martial glory and personal prowess in battle, were colliding with the spreading Christian faith. The artifacts show both worlds coexisting, sometimes on the same piece. A sword pommel might bear both traditional warrior symbols and Christian crosses, as if the owner wanted protection from every available source, whether pagan gods or the Christian God. And this is where things took an unexpected turn. Why was such enormous wealth buried in this particular field? Theories abound, but certainty remains elusive. Some historians suggest it was hidden during a battle, a desperate attempt to keep treasure from enemy hands. Others propose it might have been a ritual offering, wealth given to the gods or to the earth itself as part of religious practices we can barely imagine. Another possibility haunts researchers. Perhaps this was a war chest, a king's emergency fund buried for retrieval that never came. Did the owner fall in battle before he could return? Did changing fortunes mean the treasure's location died with its guardian? The mix of damaged and pristine pieces adds another layer of mystery. Some items had been deliberately broken before burial, their golden fragments still bearing the marks of intentional destruction. Was this ritual mutilation, removing an enemy's power by destroying their weapons, or practical division of plunder among victorious warriors? The Staffordshire Hoard represents the largest collection of Anglo-Saxon gold ever found, surpassing all previous discoveries combined. It gave historians unprecedented insight into metalworking techniques, religious practices, and military culture of 7th century England. Yet for all it reveals, the greatest mystery remains. Someone buried incredible wealth in an unmarked field and never returned. Their reasons died with them, leaving us to wonder at the circumstances that created this time capsule of Anglo-Saxon glory. If you'd like to hear more fascinating historical stories like this, please like and subscribe.